Okay, Greg, here's your video from last part of May 2019. The swing's so much better. Um, if you're playing, I gotta believe your scores are coming down, but it's quite an improvement. So it looks like your hand might be getting a little too much on top. See how the V is more towards your right I'm sorry, more towards your left ear than your right ear, and your in between your right ear and your right deltoid is where it should be pointed. It's no big deal, but you might want to just double check that. Okay, so um, here's the takeaway. Okay, the club has moved quite a bit. It's moved like 3 feet, and the shoulders really haven't moved at all. So you get to here, which looks to be in a pretty good spot. Let's see if I can get in here. Okay, watch this guy here. See, when his club is parallel to the ground, yeah, watch his shoulder. See how that shoulder's moving quite a bit? For the same distance, he's moving it quite a bit. You're So that what that means is you're just kind of picking it up with your hands a bit. The shoulder turns pretty good, and then it stops here. Okay. So so at this point, see that right shoulder isn't disappearing. Your left shoulder keeps moving. So you have to feel like that right shoulder is going up and behind your head. That ends up producing a more complete backswing. But having said that, this is a pretty good spot at the top. You got a good angle with the lower back away from the target. That left knee is caved in. That's really nice. You haven't swayed. You're still on the instep of your right foot. So that looks pretty good. And your head's rotated to allow the shoulder to get under. So that looks good. Let's see. That's his top swing. You and I can't get there, but we can get here. You can get here. See how his right shoulder has disappeared, and he's just got a better body lean that way. You're kind of straight upish there. Yeah, so you can just work a little bit more on getting that right shoulder to the target, but this is slicing up a hair, but it'll just help, especially with your driver, if you get more wound up behind it. Okay, so as you come down, you do this little weight shift, which is good. So you can see the weight traveling over here. Let's check out this head thing here. Okay, so we go up. Now this little weight shift, I like that. This is a nice position here, kind of the sit-down position that all the good players have. See, he gets into this kind of this sit-down position. So your head kind of goes, okay, so your head's moved from that from that red X to the green X. Roughly. Okay, so it's come forward a bit, and then when you hit it, it'll probably come back. Yeah, so that little shift. So I like the lower body shift, but what happens is you want to feel like your lower body shifts by the ball, and your head doesn't. Your head should stay right here. Now watch. See, his lower body shifts and his head stays there. Now he does what a lot of pros does, dip it, but see how his head is severely behind the ball and his lower body looks like it's gone by the ball. Yeah. So now when you come down, we got to work on keeping the head behind the ball and just feel like your lower body goes flying. So you get in here, and then your lower body shuts down. So your hips are probably at impact. I don't have one exactly at impact. So I think your belt buckle is pointed, just in front of the ball. In other words, your left hip hasn't cleared out of the way. So the left hip hasn't cleared out of the way, and you get to this spot. Now watch his action. See his lower body clears out. Watch that left hip. So he comes in here, he does a sit down. He's got the weight shift already gone. And then see that left hip getting out of the way? Left hip gets out of the way so he can be like that at impact. I don't have one exactly at impact. And then he gets to this position where his head actually pulls back, and in this follow through right to here, his right shoulder has released under his chin. Your right shoulder really hasn't. See, it kind of comes in here and it kind of stalls out because it bumps into the chin. Yeah. So when you come in, it's hard to explain with video, but the shoulder tilt here is severe. See how his right shoulder is pointed way down? Now you got to have good, oblique flexibility to get there, but that's actually your next move, is to get the right shoulder pointed down almost at the ball at impact, and get the left hip going out of the way. So at impact, your left hip should be gone. Your head should be in the original position. So this is what you want to get to. See how that his belt buckle is pointed, maybe 45 degrees from the target, something like that. Yours is pointed maybe 5 degrees, something like that. So other than that, looks good.